his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Hey, LS11 Universe, it's Xander, and welcome back to Impact Wrestling on WWE 2K22 Universe Mode. Another week, another episode of Impact is here, another Thursday night of my favorite show of the week. Joe Hendry, the first man we're going to be seeing tonight, making his way to the ring. Hendry set for battle with the digital media champion Matt Cardona in just 9 nights' time, Bound for Glory. 9 nights from now, I'll be back in my home for Bound for Glory. I'm on vacation at the time you're seeing this. So Joe Hendry making his way down to the ring. Tonight, Joe Hendry teams up with a man that's been a rival of his in Impact for quite a while. Because tonight, Joe Hendry takes on the former brand endorsing allies he had of Jack Evans and Mike Knox. The major players have invited these two back for one night only as they take on Joe Hendry and Cowboy James Storm. James Storm making his way to the ring out next. Storm said that Hendry earned his respect the minute Hendry learned his worth and got away from Matt Cardona. And now tonight, Joe Hendry and James Storm are going to team up. Originally last week, Brian Myers tried to make a 2-on-1 handicap match for Joe Hendry in this matchup, and James Storm said, "You're not doing that on my watch. I'll team up with him." And James Storm clearly believes in Joe Hendry, as do many people in the Impact locker room, it would seem. So James Storm making his way down to the ring. We know James Storm has the Call Your Shot Gauntlet to look forward to next weekend as well. So, I can also confirm that next week we will have Matt Cardona finally back in the Impact Zone to do a contract signing between himself and Joe Hendry. So James Storm makes his way to the ring. It's Storm and Hendry against Jack Evans and Mike Knox. Without any further ado, here we go. Joe Hendry with a boot taking down Jack Evans. Hendry goes for another kick. Jack Evans sweeps the leg of Hendry, taking him down. Jack Evans now goes up to the top rope, and Evans looking to fly. Jack Evans. Hendry out of the way. Jack Evans lands hard on the knee. Hendry catches him. Joe Hendry throws him towards the corner. Right hook connects. Shoves him back into the corner. Tag is made. James Storm is in, and James Storm double teaming him with Joe Hendry. Oh, Jack Evans ducking him. James Storm knocks him back with a forearm strike. And now, here comes Jack Evans. James Storm with an uppercut into a forearm strike. Jack Evans getting knocked down. James Storm kicking him down. Storm getting Evans back up to his feet now. James Storm grabs onto him. Throws Jack Evans towards the corner. Right hand again connects. Kicks him back now. James Storm knocks him in the corner. Oh, countered by Jack Evans. And there's a kick now from Evans. Storm shoves him back, kicks him in the ribs again. James Storm firing back on Jack Evans, kicks him in the ribs, punches him in the back. Getting him back up to his feet now. James Storm has him up. Right hook connects. Storm scoops him up on his shoulders, and James Storm. Last call! Or, 8-second ride. I had that backwards. 8-second ride. Last call. Connects. To end it quickly here. 1. Rope break's gonna save Jack Evans, but Joe Hendry telling the referee, "Get out of the way, man." Hendry gonna wipe out Mike Knox. Jack Evans is down. James Storm picking him back up, kicks him in the ribs. Tag is made to Joe Hendry. Punched in the gut now is Jack Evans. Chop block from Hendry. And Hendry wiping out Mike Knox again. Clothesline. Takes down Jack Evans. And now Joe turns his attention to Mike Knox and Joe Hendry. My God, Hendry has Mike Knox up on his shoulders. The strength of Hendry drops him. And now Jack Evans watching on like, oh God. Oh, what do I do now? Hendry runs him over. Jack Evans shoving back Hendry. Grabs onto him now, knee to the face of Joe Hendry. Putting him back up to his feet now, Jack Evans. Grabs onto Hendry. Head scissor takes him down. Hendry goes down. Joe Hendry's down. Evans gets him up. Jack Evans grabs onto Hendry. Joe Hendry finding the counter here. Hendry knocking him back. Joe looking for freak of nature. Oh, and a right hook to Mike Knox. And another. And oh, Mike Knox answers back. Hendry not giving up here. Wipes Mike Knox out. Grabs Jack Evans by the ankle. Locks in the Hendry lock on Jack Evans. We're out of here.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in
Just
Joe Hendry.
like that.
I believe in Joe Hendry. 'Cause London and Paris and Tokyo.
Just like that, Hendry and Storm make quick work of the former Brand Endorserz, wiping out Jack Evans and Mike Knox like it's nothing. Big win there for Hendry and Storm tonight. See there, Mike Knox was down and out when Hendry got the Hendry lock in. Your winners, James Storm and Joe Hendry. Good start to Impact tonight, ladies and gents. We still got 3 matches coming up. Up next, Alicia Edwards goes one-on-one with the Knockouts champion, Jordynne Grace. Wait for these two tonight. We're on to our next bit of action here tonight, folks. I apologize. It is probably going to be a bit of a shorter episode of Impact this week, just due to the vacation. I promise Bound for Glory is going to be worth it, though. Don't worry. So here comes Alicia Edwards to the ring. She's competed on BTI a few times here in LS11 Universe, but we've not seen her on screen yet. There's Alicia making her way down to the ring. And so as a quick little explanation for why these episodes might be a little shorter these next 2 weeks. I still have this, next week's Impact, tomorrow's SmackDown, next week's SmackDown, and next week's Raw to do. My flight leaves in 48 hours. And I'm not packed yet. So Alicia Edwards makes her way to the ring. Here comes the Knockouts champion. Jordynne Grace making her way to the ring. The Knockouts champion is in 9/9 set for her biggest task when she goes one-on-one with Awesome Kong. Jordynne Grace marching down to the ring. The Knockouts champion in the building. Jordynne Grace tonight, this is a bit of a warm-up for her, so we'll see what happens. It's Alicia versus Jordynne Grace one-on-one. Here we go. Edwards circling her. Jordynne Grace grabs her. Spine buster. Out of the gate there with a spine buster is Jordynne Grace. She throws Alicia into the corner. Spears her in the corner. Back flips and spears her again. Knocking her down. And Bronco Buster connects from Jordynne Grace. Taking her down. Jordynne Grace taking her down. Now kicks her down. Kicking her again. Alicia. Oh, tried to do a takedown. Jordynne Grace grabs her now, and Grace with another spine buster. Jordynne Grace clearly trying to send a message to Awesome Kong right now. Throws her across the ring into the corner. Jordynne Grace spears her in the corner. Does it again. Now Jordynne Grace putting the boots to her. Jordynne Grace. Hip attack in the corner. Knocks down Alicia Edwards. Getting her back up to her feet now. Jordynne Grace The slap knocking her back. Jordynne Grace ran away on her again. There's a chop. Grace for a clothesline. Alicia ducked it. Alicia getting her up to her feet now, and Alicia grabs onto the champion, sends her over the top rope, out to the floor. Down she goes. Jordynne Grace goes down. The referee begins the count. And now Alicia. Oh! Wiped out by the champion. Edwards grabs onto her now, gets her up on her shoulders. Has Jordynne Grace up, and Alicia runs her into the guardrail, taking down Jordynne Grace. Mounts her now, does Alicia. Alicia taking down Jordynne Grace. Kicks her in the ribs. There's another kick, taking her down, countered. Jordynne Grace sweeps the leg. And back up to her feet now. Jordynne Grace with an elbow strike. For a jab, Alicia counters. And now Alicia grabs onto her, throws her into the ring. Following after her now, Alicia getting Jordynne Grace back up onto her feet, goes for a kick. Jordynne Grace swings her around, scoops her up. Military press. Drops her. Moonsault connects. And now Jordynne Grace gonna look to wrap it up real quick here. Alicia sidesteps though. I think Jordynne Grace was thinking Grace driver. Alicia with an STO, taking down the champion. Turns her over now into a cover on Jordynne Grace here to end it. One. No, Jordynne Grace gets the shoulders up. And now Jordynne Grace rolls it over, forearm strike, and again, taking her down. Taking her down now is Jordynne Grace. Alicia back to her feet now, and Alicia Edwards went for a clothesline. Jordynne Grace went for one. Grace knocking her back, clothesline. Into another. And now Jordynne Grace ducks her off the ropes, leaping clothesline. Getting her back up to her feet now, Jordynne Grace. Scoops Alicia up overhead. Drives her into the mat. And Jordynne Grace for the finishing touch here. Getting her back up to her feet. Pulls her in. Lifts her up. Grace driver connects. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, Jordynne Grace picks up the win. A quick win there for the Knockouts champion tonight. We are just moving right along through Impact Wrestling tonight. Jordynne Grace gets the win tonight here, folks. Big win for her. Jordynne Grace scores the win. We got more coming up. We got Osfight on our hands coming up as well. As up next, it's going to be PCO making his in-ring debut against Rampage Brown. Well, we got more coming up right here, right now, ladies and gentlemen. Because right now on Impact, here comes Rampage Brown. Rampage Brown storming the ring here. A monster of a man in his own right. We got a lot of monsters making their way to Impact as of late. Maybe we need a ball specifically for them. As Rampage Brown makes his way to the ring. Rampage storming the ring tonight. He's going to go one-on-one with the newest monster on Impact Wrestling. Because here comes the walking monster. Here comes PCO. 7 nights ago, PCO made his LS11 debut. Samoa Joe wanted a member of Bullet Club to stand up and fight him, and PCO instead arrived and laid out the world champion like it was nothing. PCO storming down to the ring tonight. His first matchup in the LS11 Universe. This guy's huge, man. I've seen him in person. It's terrifying. PCO making his way down to the ring. This is going to be quite the interesting clash, if you ask me. PCO versus Rampage Brown, a match you would probably only ever see in the LS11 Universe. So it's Rampage Brown and PCO, one-on-one. Here we go. As now they lock up, PCO scoops him up. PCO with Rampage on his shoulders, stun gun, taking him down. Turns him over, grabs onto him now. Rampage pops back up. Oh, by the way, big trucks, little trucks, all that stuff. Clothesline. I'm in vacation mode at this point. Remember when Moxley was winging it in real life, going into the match with MJF at Full Gear? Remember how out of it he seemed? Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm in vacation mode. I fly out to Paris in 48 hours. Power slam! Cover! One, no, Rampage kicks out. PCO's got him down, kicks Rampage again. PCO now getting Rampage back up to his feet. Grabs onto him. PCO scoops him up, and power slam to Rampage. Rampage Brown goes down, PCO, and then back up to his feet, goes for a jab. Rampage Brown with a right hook. Rampage goes for a clothesline, gets caught by PCO. PCO now gets him up on his shoulders. Rampage Brown answering back. Brown with elbow strikes. Into a clothesline. Rampage Brown now telling him to get up. Rampage Brown walks across him with a boot. I'm thinking we're gonna make some big trucks, little truck shirt with me driving a monster truck and crushing a pickup truck. I'm thinking that's gonna be a thing we release soon on the LS11 merch shop. As now Rampage Brown, oh my God, thrown out of the ring by PCO. Now PCO following after him, getting Rampage back up to his feet. PCO's got a hold of him, throws Rampage back in the ring. And now PCO following him back in. PCO back to the top rope. And, oh, wait a minute, no. Rampage rolls out of the way. PCO grabbing onto him, pulls him in, lifts him up, and throws him across the ring. Grabs onto him now. PCO deadlifting Rampage Brown and hitting him with a running power slam. What's PCO thinking here? He goes out of the ring. PCO going to the top rope. Rampage Brown gets him in the ribs. Rampage hits the ropes. Oh, they collide. Power check there, Rampage answers back with a spear, taking him down. Cover. 1, 2, kick out from PCO. Rampage Brown taking down PCO, who kicks out. Now Rampage kicking down the former Ring of Honor champion. They collide again. They just bounce off each other. Rampage Brown thrown across the ring by PCO. Rampage getting picked back up to his feet. PCO with a punch in the face. Grabs onto him now, bends back the arm, stops the arm of Rampage Brown. PCO now going up to the top rope. PCO perched up high. Oh, Rampage went for him. PCO got out of the way, but face planted. Elbow strike to Rampage. And now PCO going out of the ring. PCO to the top rope. Oh, dear God. Moonsault to Rampage. PCO with a moonsault to Rampage. Cover. 1, 2. Kick out from Brown. And now Rampage Brown is down. PCO to the top rope. Swanton bomb. Cover on Rampage for the 1, 2. Kick out again from Rampage Brown. PCO now gonna deadlift him again. Takes him down. Cover. 1, 2. Kick out from Rampage. Going for kicks again. Now he's PCO stomping down Rampage. Rampage Brown went for him. PCO throws him back into the corner. PCO. No! Rampage counters. Boots him! And now Rampage grabbing PCO. Picking him up, and Rampage Brown. Gut-wrench powerbomb! Goes out of the ring now, and Rampage Brown to the top rope. Elbow drop. Rampage going up to the top rope again, and Rampage Brown. Splash! 1, 2, 3. Rampage Brown beats PCO. What a win there for Rampage tonight. I think he needed that one to get back on track, for sure. After a rough couple weeks in Impact with the loss to Samoa Joe back at Death Before Dishonor, Rampage Brown tonight picks up a huge win. And ladies and gentlemen, our main event is about to come up. Samoa Joe takes on Juice Robinson of Bullet Club. That match is up next. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your main event of the evening.
Bullet Club.
Here comes Bullet Club to the ring. Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and Juice Robinson making their way to the ring. Juice Robinson set for his LS11 in-ring debut tonight after making a shock appearance last week to take out the Impact World Champion Samoa Joe. Bullet Club is in the building. Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and Juice Robinson marching down to the ring. Big matchup tonight for Bullet Club. They are just 9 nights away from 4 of them entering into the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, with Chris Bay, Ace Austin, Juice Robinson, and Kenta entering the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. And then the leader of Bullet Club, Switchblade Jay White, will be challenging Samoa Joe for the Impact World title. So Chris Bay, Austin, and Robinson making their way to the ring. No Jay White in sight tonight. Bullet Club make their way to the ring. And now, here comes Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe storming to the ring. Samoa Joe storming down to the ring. The submission machine, the destroyer, the Impact World Champion, marching down. No towel tonight, nothing. He is just dressed. He is here in full ring gear, ready for a fight. Samoa Joe holding the Impact World title high. It's about to go down. Joe and Juice. Here we go. Joe with a clothesline out of the gate to Juice Robinson. Joe grabs onto him now, kicked in the ribs. Robinson answers back. Juice Robinson knocking him back. There's a chop, knocks Samoa Joe off his feet. And now Juice Robinson taking him down. Taking down Samoa Joe now. Juice Robinson's got him down. Robinson with a stomp. Joe's down. Robinson going to the top rope. Juice. Oh, went for a splash. Joe out of the way. And now Joe hits the ropes. Goes for a boot. Robinson hanging on. Joe chops him. Samoa Joe jabbing away at him. Spinning back fist. Hits the ropes. Boots him again. Joe taking down Robinson. You can see Bay and Austin starting to get a little worried on the outside as Joe. Crossface. Looking to end it quickly. Here is Samoa Joe. tap him out, choke him out super early. Samoa Joe's got it in tight. Juice Robinson rolls it through. Now Joe with a chop. Joe with a back fist now. There's another chop. Joe answering back, right hook. And Joe chokes him, knocking him down, possibly out. Samoa Joe kicking away at him. Juice back to his feet though. Juice Robinson with a right hook. Grabs onto him now, and Juice dropping Samoa Joe. Getting him back to his feet now. Juice Robinson for a right hook. Joe countered. Joe turns him around. Samoa Joe. Coquina clutch. Coquina clutch in on Juice as Samoa Joe gonna make Juice Robinson tap out here. Robinson in trouble. Samoa Joe's got it in. Juice Robinson. Headbutt to Joe, knocking him down. And now Robinson jabs him. Juice Robinson firing away. Robinson takes down Joe. Another kick now. Juice has Joe down. Juice Robinson trying to grab him here. Samoa Joe rolls it through. Kicks him in the back. Joe now hits the rope. Samoa Joe. Double axe handle. No. Robinson counter. And now Juice grabs onto him. Throws him into the corner. Robinson gets knocked back by Joe. Samoa Joe caught with a jab. Juice Robinson lighting him up and taking him down into a leg drop. Juice Robinson to pin the... I thought he was going to try and pin the Impact Champion, getting him back up to his feet now. Joe with a knee strike. Joe now sends him off the rope. Samoa Joe. They collide. Clothesline attempt. Robinson out of the way. Robinson has him up on his shoulders at a torture rack. Drives him into the mat. Juice Robinson has Samoa Joe down to pull up the ultimate upset, pin the Ring of Honor champion, or the Impact champion, excuse me, kick out from Samoa Joe. Ray and I were talking about the card for the next Ring of Honor show before this. The Ring of Honor's on a moment. As now Juice Robinson grabs Joe up on his shoulders again, and Juice dropping the Impact champ again. Samoa Joe is down. Juice Robinson into a cover. 1, 2. Kick out from Joe. Samoa Joe kicks out. Juice gets him up. Joe counters. Samoa Joe. Counter for counter here. Joe sends him into the corner. Enziguri takes down Robinson. Gets him down. Into a senton across the back. And another for good measure. Samoa Joe, one thing left to do if he wants to put the Juice away. Throws him in the corner. Puts him on the top. Joe with Muscle Buster. One, 2, 3. And that's how you do it like a world champion. Hell of a victory there for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe gets the win. Juice Robinson put up a hell of a fight though, but ultimately, your winner, the Impact World Champion, Samoa Joe. A huge victory there for Samoa Joe tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching this week's episode of Impact Wrestling. Until next time, everybody, I've been Xander. That was Universe. I'm down to 4 videos till my vacation. See you guys next week.